Okay, next, we need to prepare to work on our inventory system and equipment system. First, you need to know that this backpack and equipment system is actually very complex, and its coupling is also something to consider later. If you want to add something like a talent system or a shop system in the future, their logic is actually the same. Initially, you mainly need to be able to write it out, but later you have to consider decoupling, because you'll find that if you slightly modify your combat system, then wouldn't all your talent systems, equipment systems, and these backpacks all need to be changed? That would definitely be unreasonable. So the idea of decoupling is to make their interaction form as much as possible use an interface approach, and the parameters of the interface should be as much as possible in the form of f-strings or asset ID. When you interface, don't directly throw a GA or a GE over. Doing that would make the coupling too strong. Then you can configure 1 or 2 tables in between. That is, these tables specify what these parameters on the interface correspond to. Let them look up the table. By looking up this table, you can obtain the description of the skill, the icon of this skill, or the actual effect of this skill, and so on. So that's the idea. Then for this lesson, first, we will create the GA for restoring health and restoring mana. Then we will work on our equipment system. Finally, we will integrate this equipment system, the inventory system, and our GA together. So we've already made a lot of GAs earlier. So now making GAs is relatively smooth. Let me show you what it looks like after we're done. What this GA is roughly like. For example, I picked up an item here. Then when I click on it, it can restore health. After restoring health, you can, as for restoring health, it needs to do a triple deduction of the potion count, right? So now we won't do the deduction of the potion count and the check. We'll just do that after clicking the skill. It can restore the health, okay? So we need to change the position because it might involve potions. Let's put it in this position. Let's call this thing item, and let's call this thing potential. Okay, with this potential ready, let's prepare the corresponding animation. And then for this animation, we'll use this animation. Let's come over here. Let's just finish it all in one go. Let's go to this character, Harold Zombie. Then find it in the animation. It should have something called cycling, where let's use this animation. Okay, that's it. Then let's create a montage. Okay, let's drag this montage into our item. Here, let's erase this, drag this motor into our item. Remember that sometimes redirectors may be generated. Be sure to fix it. Then, put it into the item. So we'll write 2. Let's rename it first. Actually, you could do it all with 1. That's also fine. Okay, we're just doing this here to keep it simple. We haven't reached the stage of skill integration yet. Actually, after you finish integrating later, for the same type of skill, you can completely write it as a parent class and abstract this logic. Just configuring the table is enough. Okay, with this, let's now write a gameplay ability. Okay, let's find our gameplay ability. It's our own one. We'll call it TA intention. Let's give it a base. Okay, after you have the base, let's create 2 subclasses for it. Create 2 subclasses. 2 subclasses. One is health. The other is mana. They should be mana. But we will need to modify this later, because we don't have this yet. The backpack component, we will definitely add things later. Let's implement this effect first. Similarly, it's the same here. We make a simple cost. Such a judgment, actually in Lyra. It overrides this check cost. We didn't do that here. We just go through the process and note that there's a can activate. Such a method here, actually. At this point, we need to get our backpack component to make a judgment. At this time, we just give it a true value. It can be judged. As with this marker, it might be that if your activation fails, it may trigger the relevant marker. If it is possible that we didn't look into it, in detail. Okay, that is to say, we can definitely listen for failure, and then the specific reason for the failure, you can prompt it that the mana is insufficient, or that the consumption is insufficient, something like that. Okay, that is, it can be done. This is completely doable, no problem. And here, it's the same. We'll directly play a montage. Play a montage. Okay, then let's prompt this here. This variable. Okay, we need to give this radar. We need to give the rate to this animation. We won't give it because it is a base. Well, animation is not provided. Then as long as we blend the animation out, we just give it all to him. Under ability. Okay, then at this point we need to do it through this vidGame event because we want the animation to definitely trigger when he drinks that potion. Then for this tag, we need to configure it because different tags may be different. Okay, and this should actually only trigger once. It should only trigger once. It should not trigger multiple times. Okay, then when it triggers, we must only do this on the server. It must only be triggered on the server. Then we get our own ASC and then we create one for it. The context of this application, then we promote this to a variable. Promote to variable. After promoting to variable, we can directly apply the effect to it. Okay, for this effect, we promote it to a variable. We do not check this box here. Then we put the ASC here. We need to pass this world context. That should work. Then afterwards, actually we just directly under ability. Actually, at this point, we still need to execute this. That is to deduct our potion. But we won't worry about that part for now. We haven't written it yet. So here, we look at this part. These two should be the same. It's equivalent to casting it on ourselves. So actually, you can use this one. That is apply. Apply. Gaming effect to self. This is all the same. Actually, using it like this here is fine too. Okay, pay attention. Some things here are all left unfilled. So where do we fill them in? Let's get it ready now. Let's go one by one. First, if it's a game house, then we fill in house here. And for our tag, we should give it the tag for this potion. This tag is the one to listen for. So we should use the game event tag. The game event, here we add a subtag. We give it a power house. We just add it to this default. Okay, that's fine. And we haven't written this effect yet. So we still need to prepare the effect here. As for this effect, we go to the previous damage section. Just call a monster. Well, our previous damage should be in this comment. There's this memory in Malo. Let's copy it. Then we put it into our potential. Hey, why didn't it move over? Oh, that's it. Then, as for this memory, we'll just call it potential health. Then let's add another one here, a memory potential mana. And here, actually, for this potential health, we need to change the parameters inside. Because we gave this earlier, we no longer need this JEEC thing. We no longer need it. We can just remove it. Because now we are directly modifying the values inside. And actually, if we don't need this equation, we just delete it like this. We don't need this combo in here either. We only need one modifier. We'll just change the values directly. Good. Okay, so for this modifier, we select this health. Then we just add a value of 30 points to it. And here we need to add a game queue. Then note that regarding this game queue, we also need to change it. Here we add a subordinate tag. It is potential thesis. We fill it in here. Now we don't have this game queue yet. We will need to create the corresponding game queue later. Similarly, we come over here. we need to directly change this mana. We won't directly change it to 3. Then we duplicate 1. Duplicate 1 over. Okay, once we have this mana text, we need to change it to a position here. We need to add a subtag. We give a mana. It wasn't selected here. 8 only got added. Then here it gives us a 20. What is modified? Here is the word mana. After modifying this mana, we go back to the place where we need to configure the table. We select this health. Okay, then next, we also modify this mana. We change it as well. Here we are using the mana montage. And for this event tag, we select mana. Yeah. As for this part, it's game even, not game queue. This part can sometimes be easily confused. There should be potential mana. Okay. Because everyone should be very familiar with this part. Let's just write it together. Then we also need to prepare here. Prepare this enemy notify. We'll just write it directly in Blueprint. We'll use enemy notify directly like this. Then we give it an enemy. Then we just give it a potential. And as for this, we'll make it a common code. We just don't want it to write so many diagrams. We'll directly have it store and write this method. So for this element notify, be first get its owner. Get the owner directly through it. Let's check confirm here. Confirmed and processed. Then here we have a method like this. Call the send game event to actor. Then we send this to it. And for our event tag, we expose it as a variable. This variable we can mark as instance editable. Then expand. Next is this payNode. For this payNode, we need to make it. Because if you don't make it, you might not be able to. Okay. This gamma event. For this tag, let's give it a potential. Let me check. Actually, we probably don't need to use this tag. We mainly judge based on this tag, because this tag is above. Because this is a tag from the pilot. That's the situation. So don't mix up these tags. That's it. After doing this, we go to our here. We find where his hand rises here. Okay, right here. Then we add a notify state. Okay, we select it. Then we have a tag here. We remember we select gain event tag. It is health. Then select bridge here. Okay, this is done. And this is it. This is the same. We just put it here. Then we select mana here. Place it here. Okay, here we need to select the breakpoint. Okay, after doing this, actually, we have already finished washing it. But we still need to process this game queue further. As for this kind of game queue, we can make it a bit larger. We just need to pick one. Let's use this damage taken. Let's first attach a health one. Because we need to change the font color. Make a simple distinction for it. Then here, let's change this tag first. So it is a health tag. And here, it actually hasn't collected these things. We mainly have this one. This color should be green. So this place should be gray 225. Here we select 0. And as for this position should be okay. Right, because the sender and receiver are ourselves. And there is an unbridged here. We don't need it, because there is no receiver here. We'll just delete this directly. Okay, we mainly need this damage number. If it's locally controlled by us, we just need to add this. Okay, now let's modify it. Paste this and change it to mana. After finding this mana, we first change this tag. It's easy to miss changes here. Everyone will get used to it after writing a few times. Then we take this here. Unit graph should be gone. Here, there is a color here because it is blue. So we change blue to 255. Of course, at this point, you might feel this color is a bit uncomfortable. Actually, you can do this. Make snatch corner. It should be this one. Then you will find this color is selectable. You will find. Then we use this color. Then we break it. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this color can spread over. It actually works. Let's do it this way. Let's test this again. Okay. Next, we go into our counter. Let's test the health first. Let's first find our character chicken ribs. This character chicken ribs should be here. Right here, we need to register this ability. For this ability, we just type XT. Let's first input the health value. Okay, a bit laggy. Okay. Let's input 4. When we press the key 4, we make it activate this health. Open. Next, let's test it. Let's open 2 instances to test. We press 4. Right, actually, we have this health value. Let's hit him with a bat. Let's take a look. This health value seems to be 0. Let's check it. Why is it 0? It should be gunpowder snow. Let's take a look. If the health value is 0, it should be that we have some parameters written incorrectly. Let's check it. Obviously, it's this place. We forgot to change it. Because we directly modified it, we need to select health. Then the mala here. We need to select mala. These 2 things need to correspond. Let's test again. Press 4. Now it's normal. Right, you can see it did restore 30 health points. Now let's test the mana. Using this skill takes a bit long, but it's okay, since we don't have extra buttons here. We can only modify this. Change the mana here. We change it to mana. Let's see if there is this restoration. Let's take a look. Hey, you can see this color is also the color you like, right? We use a skill. Let's restore again. Look back and forth like this. Isn't this recovery skill already done for everyone? As you can see. Okay, then we'll end this lesson here for everyone.